there are numerous stories about creatives dabbling in various art forms before they sort of find their calling. Welcome to Oral Tradition and another adventure in Guyanese literature. And also let's welcome a multi-talented artist, creative, who's won the Guyana Prize twice, Guyana Prize for Literature, and also has won the Commonwealth Short Story Prize. Maggie, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome home.
Katamba.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
How it feels to be home?
Like if I've never been away in some parts, and other parts going, that's not there, that wasn't there, that wasn't so much traffic, you know, where'd that come from? Yes, yes, because it's a long time.
Tell me your story about getting fixed on one art form. I mean, you've dabbled in art, you're known as a poet, and you've also produced some prose.
Well, I actually started out as a visual artist. So, you know, when I left this country, I wanted to be an artist. I like drawing. And I used to write one or two poems, but not seriously. But it really wasn't until some years later that, you know, after I had children, and it was difficult to get your canvases out. You know, when you've got children, you have like a proper art room. But I found out the secret of being a writer, you can sit in any corner, you know, and the words will come. And so slowly I got interested in writing, especially poetry, you know, because there was also a performance element happening at the time, so that if you're a poet, you could put on a reading somewhere, and, you know, like in a library or a college. And at that time, which was the 90s when I went to college and university, and that encouraged the poetry because it had a physical presence, you know, so you could go out and you could read your poetry, you could listen to others, you could plan events. And so for a number of years, I concentrated mostly on poetry because it had the performance element as well.
A great advantage, you know, you can write, you can draw, right, and you can also get feedback during your performances. I mean, you can feel off the audience what's happening.
Yes, yes. Well, I think poetry, like they say, it's meant to be heard aloud, spoken aloud, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's certainly a theatrical and dramatic, which I'll probably get from being Guyanese anyway, because, you know, we had to do something called recitation. I don't know if you remember that. You know, you had to learn poems and stand up, and if you didn't know it, you get a wild cane, it'll come down on your hand. You know, but you learned to enjoy listening to the words. And even though some of the words we couldn't even pronounce, you know, you look at some of the old, like, Scottish ballads, and, you know, we used to learn. But
I love Chaucer. I think we will talk about Chaucer just
now. And so I instinctively, that performance element was really part of it, the language of words and how words sound and how beautiful they can be when they're put together in a certain framework. You know?
There's another extension to you. Your poetry has been framed on buildings, I think.
Twice, I think, yeah. There's a permanent, hopefully, unless nobody's been and put graffiti over it. I won a competition to write a poem for Canterbury, and that's the city where I went to university as well. And so I was very pleased to see that up in the city's Westgate Gardens. And it's beautifully presented because it's on a wall, and it's also been illustrated. And I think there are about 3 of us that are there. And it's been there over 10 years. And it still looks, you know, so I feel really privileged to have that there. as poets, we're quite lucky living in the UK, is that there are opportunities to do these things. And, you know, someone will have a festival or get some funding to do a specific project. And so it allows people like me to be able to take another, have another aspect of our work shown.
We need platforms to showcase our work.
Yes, but when I started out, you know, Pitamba, there was nothing really happening. I mean, when I went to college to do my access course before I went on to uni, I was about 39. And having developed, or in the process of developing a love of poetry, I looked around and there was nothing really happening. So I started up a group. I rented the library. I, you know, had an exhibition and poetry and people come in and it grew to be a festival over, you know. So there's a lot of self-help, you know, when you start some. But now the situation is much changed. If you want to go to poetry where I live, you could go every night. It is so much. And excuse me, I don't know how representative that is of the whole country, but there are certainly hundreds of poetry performances. There's a lot of slam poetry.
That's
you know,
going fine.
Right across the range, you know, of more literary poets that you sit down and listen to. Or open mic, which is very popular because it, you know, it draws people in to stand up and share their words, you know.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I am in a sad mood here as you speak, because we've had a few platforms, avenues to perform more work. Now there's not very much apart from the National Library. When I had a hand there. We used to have World Poetry Day, World Storytelling Day. Also, when I had a hand in the Ministry of Culture, you know, I used to be celebrating those things, or pushing for them to be celebrated. World Book and Copyright Day, all these things I used to be doing. And indeed, it takes that one person to push it through. But then you need institutional help also. The institutional help in that you need a space, all right, and some other things.
Yeah.
That a person,
Yes, they're obviously, yes, it needs to be supported. But I also think that people can do quite a lot themselves, especially if you have a situation where no money needs change hands. You know, it doesn't have to be in a library, it can be in a cafe.
Yeah.
You know, I've had cream tea and poetry. I've had wine and food evenings.
Yes.
Anywhere. You know,
there's some of that happening.
Yeah, that's good. I think also the collaboration, the cross culture is really important. So, for instance, if somebody has an art exhibition, why not have a poetry reading?
That is happening.
Opening. That's
right.
good.
Widening poetry.
Because you're widening your audience there, aren't you, as well?
Okay. And I tell a lot of emerging writers appearing on this program over the years, I tell them you need to market yourself. Let people know your work.
Yeah.
And it's happening, especially because of the internet, social media. It's happening.
That's opened up a lot of opportunities.
It's opened a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
People getting to know the work of other writers, which is a good thing. And then you do get some feedback other than likes, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You do get some feedback, some really good feedback from that.
Well, the world. I mean, I'm quite old, obviously, so I have history, you know, with kind of remembering how things used to be and how they are. But certainly, when I was organising events in Kent, it was actually days before even email. So you had to write to the paper. You had to put posters up in any shop that would let you. You had to handwrite people who you know who might come. You know, a lot of running around, you know, taking leaflets around to schools, you know, but now you don't have to really do much of that because it's all on the internet and, you know, you build up a community of people as well.
I still need that personal contact. I like to make contact with people.
Yeah.
They want one-on-one contact.
Yeah.
But especially by telephone or something, you know what I mean? You need
that's important.
It helps a whole lot.
Yes.
Because an invitation will go there, and another one will come,
Yes.
and then another one comes like that, you know what I mean? So you need that personal
personal contact.
Maggie, you've done good. Look at you. You have done great with your writing.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for giving us all these splendid things. Mostly about Guyana. Mostly about Guyana. And we sort of know you as a poet. You have won the Guyana Prize twice for a very exciting book. Very exciting, very intimate. This artwork belongs to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very exciting, 60 years of loving. I like this.
I wanted to commemorate my 60th birthday. So that's what I did at that time.
And the other one was Limbo Lamb, it was?
Yes, that was the first one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The sections is divided in various sections. And oh, this is pretty. Limbo Lambs, Spirit Lands, Fatherlands, Motherlands. And I think you've got a poem. Perhaps you should start with the poem Origin, Islands. So if you should give us a reading, I think you should start with Origins.
Origins, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it? I think it's in here somewhere.
Is it?
The first one, I think it's there.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes. Shall I read it?
Yeah, please.
Origins. Yes. Track me the scent of my skin on a coast off Paramaribo, where a trade wind blowing its precious cargo doesn't know that one day they'll build rockets from behind those trees and aim for the moon where this captain is sailing his ship by the stars. Trace me that line of ancestors on that shore. Igbo, Hausa, a Madeiran fisherman drawing his nets off a reef. Waters that flow from Chechnya and the Nile, one single ice floe melting from the tundra. I am listening for the soft pad of a footfall morning, a Yamamani and Makusi morning, a grandfathers who don't know their name yet morning, skins melting into ochre forests, where young men are rubbing tinder sticks in the sun and women drape skins, even as you drop soft-pawed from the rocks, spine bristling with porcupine quills into new centuries of prayer flags and eddos and turbans mimicking a call. Land on the prow of this ship and watch the captain as he stares at the stars, thumbing his saltwater map, his wolf eyes holding the moon. Yes, track me the scent of my skin on a Paramaribo morning, where an archipelago whispering the rosary calls so enticingly. But tread water, wait, I don't wish to arrive yet. Not just yet.
Mixed ancestry. Oh,
Yes.
but you're not in any category. You're just Guyanese.
I am Coca Price.
The Kookaburra. So many origins, so many. Oh, yeah. Talk about some of those origins.
Well, we should celebrate. And it wasn't really until I went to university to learn half the things that I didn't know back in Guyana about Guyana.
Yeah.
How strange is
How
that?
strange.
So,
Like some of us haven't seen kite shores yet.
Well, I only just did it. I had to reach 70. But yes, because it made me being at university, it allowed me the chance to research my ancestry, and my dad was what they might call a red man, a coloured man, a mixed race man, anything changed. And my mum is half Portuguese and half Scottish, and then there is Portuguese from Madeira, so it's the Madeira side, And if you look at all the different places we come from, they all got their story.
Yeah.
And
People who came, that's right.
however they came, whatever means, I think they're to be celebrated, our ancestors.
Of course.
But all the time I was growing up, is not all of them were celebrated at all. You know, especially when you're what they call now mixed race.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because my mother used to pull my nose
Straighten it.
to make it straight. It did not work. What was the other thing they used to do?
Oil your skin.
Yeah, the hair, I mean, I won't go into hair, that's another big story. You know, me and my sisters have all got different texture hair. That was one thing. And you mustn't shame your colour. You mustn't shame your colour, so what does that mean? All these things that you hear, and it wasn't until I was writing my memoir, KISKADEE Girl, that I started thinking about my black family. And how come they didn't say something nice, something positive?